Good morning in the morning. Alright, this meme has inspired me to talk a little bit. So this random person that is in my feed because I don't follow them. So I'm not really using Facebook for people, but I do belong to some groups. So it's like a local town group, some astrology groups. What other kind of groups? Oh, Ninja Creamy groups. Excuse me, sharing recipes and things like that. A rental housing group. Anyway, Facebook will stick these things in between, the posts. They fill in with stuff that I didn't ask for. But anyway, this one is someone reposting something by Corey Allen at Hey Corey Allen. This meme says, "It took me forever to get comfortable with the fact that we're actually the ones in charge of deciding what our value is, not other people." Yeah. Yeah. But actually I would even, to be more accurate, I would even have to reword it a little bit, because I would have to say, like, we're the ones in charge of noticing and allowing our value, because the value is inherent. The value exists. The value that we each are exists already. So say we don't notice it all. We don't notice our value. First of all, we are the ones in charge of noticing our value, right? It's not anyone else's job to notice our value. They may, and that's great, and those are the people we want to be in relationships with. But really, first and foremost, just the act of allowing our own value to exist and knowing it is a way to be whole. Is because otherwise you're dividing your mind, you're dividing your self. It's like disallowing a part of yourself, your value. It's your value. And there's three things that can happen with your disallowed value, right? So you're not noticing your value, right? You maybe give yourself credit on these things, but not these things, right? When you don't notice your value, one, people can use it against you. Two, you can use it against yourself. Or three, you can project it onto someone else. And to the degree that we don't see our own value, we will also not see the value in others. To the degree we do not see our own value, we will also not see the value in others. So when we see someone and when we're devaluing them, that is a clue to us. That's a clue to us. It's always going to be a reflection of us, how we are experiencing our own holographic experience, right? So if we don't know our value, that's when people can use it against us, right? When I say that, I mean, like, that's when people can attack you or write spells on you or, dirty up your reputation or make you think that you're lesser by picking on you, bullying you, gaslighting you, all those things, right? You make yourself susceptible to outside attacks by not knowing your value. It's like, if you knew your value, you would not have room for that stuff to even hit. The other thing is, if you're tending to turn against yourself in the places where you don't see your value. So that's like the internal dialogue where we beat ourselves up, or we think we are lesser, or we think we're not enough. These are stories that we can tell ourselves, and all they're doing, all these stories and thoughts and feelings are telling ourselves is that we're trying to fill up the space of the place that we don't know our value in. So all we have to do is learn our value, right? And that's what we're doing with alchemy. We're digging for gold inside the stuff that might be, less pleasant, in the shadowy, unrealized stuff. The places where people could get us and the places where we got ourselves. That's all where our hidden value is. And the other thing we can do is actually project onto someone else. And sometimes, let's see, how would this work? Yeah, this is that thing that goes back to, I admire this in you. Meanwhile, I don't think I have the ability to do it. It's like putting on the other person what your value is. Like, I value that skill that you have, and wow, you're really good at it, compared to me, who I don't give credit for being good at it. But meanwhile, I have the potential to be just as good at it if I just focus on it, if I just own it, if I just practice, whatever I need to do, depending on what the thing is. Because you may be like, oh, well, that person has it naturally. They're naturally talented at it, and I'm not naturally talented at it. I would have to practice. And it's like, yeah, well, that doesn't mean that it's not your value. There's a lot of value in the process of practice, in the process of learning what works and what doesn't work, because a natural talent may have done that in another lifetime. So they come in and they've already learned and mastered that. So in this lifetime, they don't have to go through the process of trial and error. Because mastery, remember, we're going to experience all aspects of a thing, what works and what doesn't work. We want to know what doesn't work as much as we want to know what works, because we want to know why it works, because then we know where we can step out of bounds of what we're using for success, right? Because we want to even be able to be inspired to grow and learn more within the thing that we're mastering. It's like, I know how to break the rules if I have studied it from every angle, Whereas if I'm just learning, if I am practicing under somebody else or practicing under some tutelage, maybe I'm confined to what they're teaching me, and I have to just keep doing and repetitively doing what they do. That's more like mimic. But when you do that, maybe you step out and you try some things where you fail a little bit, and then so getting a bigger picture allows us to master something, right? So I love just this person's wanting to bring us back to give our attention to the fact that, us owning our value is really, really powerful and important. And we each have inherent value. And if we don't know it, that it can turn against us. It's like we feel best when we know our value. It feels good, right? Like you can stand in your confidence. And it's like, we're not meant to be cookie cutter versions of something else, of somebody else, of something outside of ourselves. We have our own unique thing, each of us. So to be fully that, to love all parts of self, is to be whole, and is to contribute your essence to the soup of this humanity. And more people who are doing that, the better the puzzle gets put together and the better it looks, And I kind of want to say, in a way, like, it doesn't look bad now either. Like, sometimes you stand next to someone and they can see your value and you can't, So I feel like when I look at the puzzle, like, I can see people's value even when they can't. And that's been for a long time. That was since I ascended up into the upper chakras and I got those views and I was like in touch with people's souls. And I was like, then when I descended, it was like weird, because like I was like, well, I know your soul is doing this. I know your soul has this value. I know. And then it's like, oh, it's just potential for you. Oh, you don't even care about it. Oh, you're kind of hating on yourself. Oh, you're hating on that person as a placeholder for hating on yourself. Oh, oh, ow, ooh. Yeah, descending was hard. But anyway, with that view up there in the upper chakras, you can see everyone's value. So it's there. Your value is there. Own it. Be it. Love it. And this is why when, we find our value sometimes in those places where we haven't loved ourselves yet. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. Yeah, that's all.